After 15 years of pouring my heart into Sunwave Technologies, crafting apps that earned $1.7 million a month, earning my son Jaden's proud title of coding superhero, and proving a black man from Miami could rise to the top, I was blindsided by a racist CEO, David Keller, who erased my legacy with a cold dismissal because of my skin, unaware that his betrayal would fuel my fight to expose his corruption, reclaim my dignity, and build a brighter future for every underdog in Miami's tech world. I'm 42, born and raised in Miami, where the sun burns bright and the ocean hums like it's got secrets to tell. I'd unwind on weekends with jazz at a local club or jog along South Beach, dreaming of a future where Jaden could thrive. For 15 years, I poured my soul into Sunwave Technologies, a financial tech company perched in the heart of downtown, with a view of the beach that made every late night worth it. I started as a coder, hunched over a keyboard in a cramped office, debugging lines until my eyes blurred. But I climbed the ladder, became a project manager, and led teams that built apps raking in $1.7 million a month. Sunwave wasn't just a job. It was my home, my pride, my proof that a black man from Miami could make it big. I'd sit with my team at happy hour, sipping cold beers as the sunset painted the sky orange, swapping stories about deadlines and dreams. My son, Jaden, would beg me to tell him about the cool tech stuff I did, calling me his coding superhero. That kid's smile kept me going through every crunch time, every missed school play. Then David Keller walked in, and everything changed. This guy, with his slick white smile and eyes that didn't quite meet yours, showed up as our new CEO in September 2024. They said he was here to shake things up, but all I saw was a man who didn't belong. He brought his own crew, a pack of managers who looked at me like I was out of place in my own office. In my first meeting with him, I pitched a new app feature, one I'd spent months perfecting. Keller barely glanced at my slides before waving me off. 10 minutes later, a white colleague suggested the same damn thing, and Keller clapped like it was genius. My gut twisted. I overheard him later, whispering to the HR director, Linda Hayes, about needing a team that fits our new vision. Those words hit like a punch, dragging me back to middle school, when kids snickered and called me the odd one out because of my skin. I told myself I was overthinking it. 15 years of blood, sweat, and tears at Sunwave had to count for something. My track record, my awards, my team's respect, that would protect me. I was dead wrong. It was a Friday afternoon when Keller called me into his office. He sat there, staring at his laptop, not even bothering to look up. "Marcus, we're restructuring," he said, his voice flat as concrete. "Your role's no longer needed. Decision's final." I leaned forward, my heart pounding. Why? What did I do wrong? Give me something. Anything. He just shrugged, eyes still glued to his screen. "It's just business," but I saw it in his face, that flicker of something ugly. This wasn't about business. This was about me being a black man in a room he wanted to whitewash. I walked out of Sunwave, the Miami sun blazing down like it was mocking me. 15 years of my life, gone in 5 minutes. All those nights I skipped dinner with Jaden, all those weekends I spent in the office, erased. When I got home, Jaden ran up, his big eyes searching mine. "Dad, you okay? You look sad." I pulled him close, my throat tight, unable to speak. But deep inside, something sparked, a fire, hot and unyielding. Keller thought he could break me, toss me out like trash. He had no idea who he was messing with. I wasn't going down without a fight, and I'd make sure he regretted ever crossing me. Sunway's betrayal left me hollow, wandering Miami's palm-lined streets, where the city's Latin beats, once my pulse, now mocked my defeat. Bills stacked up on my counter, each one a reminder of my fall. Jaden's innocent question, "Dad, are we going to be okay?" cut deeper than any insult, his wide eyes searching for the hero I wasn't sure I could be. I forced a smile, ruffled his hair, and said, "We'll make it, champ." But inside, I was sinking, haunted by Keller's cold shrug. I had to fight back, not just for me, but for my son. I started calling old colleagues, fishing for answers. That's when the pieces started falling into place. Maria, a data analyst with a sharp mind and a Cuban fire, told me she'd been restructured too. Anil, an Indian engineer who'd been my coding partner for years, was out the door a week after me. Sarah, a black designer whose work lit up our apps, got the same vague excuse I did. We met at a dive bar near South Beach, the kind with sticky tables and neon signs. Over cheap beers, they spilled the truth. Keller was building his dream team, all white, all new, calling them the face of Sunwave's future. He thought his fake smile could fool us all, but I saw right through him. Maria slammed her glass down. He didn't even pretend to care about my work, just said the company's moving in a different direction. Anil nodded, his voice low. They replaced me with some kid fresh out of college. No experience, but the right look. Sarah's eyes burned. This isn't just about jobs, Marcus. It's about who we are. Their stories lit a fuse in me. I wasn't alone, and I sure as hell wasn't going down quietly. I needed proof, something solid to nail Keller. I still had a backdoor account in Sunwave's system, a relic from my early days. I tried logging in one night, heart racing, but the system locked me out after one attempt. I cursed, slamming my laptop shut. I knew I was out of my depth. That's when I reached out to Lena, a hacker I'd worked with on a security project years back. She was brilliant, the kind who could crack code like it was a crossword puzzle. I called her, laid it all bare. Keller, the firings, Jaden's tears. She hesitated, her voice tight. Marcus, if I get caught, my career's toast. I can't risk it. I pushed harder, my words raw. Lena, this isn't just about me. It's about every person Keller stepped on. You know Jaden looks up to me. I can't let him see his dad give up. She went quiet, then sighed. Fine, but we do this my way, and it's not going to be easy. 2 days later, Lena called me in a panic. Some guy from Sunwave, one of Keller's lackeys, had emailed her, warning her to stay out of things that don't concern you. My stomach dropped. They were watching us. I drove to meet James Carter, a Miami lawyer who'd taken on discrimination cases before. He was a no-nonsense guy, gray hair, sharp suit, the kind who didn't flinch at a fight. I told him everything. He leaned back, scribbling notes. You've got a case for the EEOC, Marcus, but you'll need hard evidence, emails, recordings, something they can't deny. He drafted a legal protection for Lena, shielding her if things went south. That gave her the green light. Lena and I worked nights, fueled by coffee and fury, chasing a lead from an old email about a shady financial transfer that never made sense. She found a weak spot in Sunwave's archive, a forgotten server I'd set up years ago. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. The screen lit up. We were in. What we uncovered made my blood boil. Emails between Keller and Linda Hayes, blunt as a blade. Get rid of people like Marcus. They don't match our brand. Another revealed Keller had been sued for discrimination at his last job, but Sunwave buried it to hire him. Then came the kicker, a memo showing Keller had leaked customer data on purpose, framing minority employees to justify firing them. My hands shook as I saved the files, the system's firewall nearly catching us. This was bigger than I thought. Keller wasn't just a bigot, he was a criminal. I called Maria, Anil, and Sarah to my place. We sat around my dining table, papers scattered, laptops glowing. I showed them the evidence. Maria's jaw dropped. That son of a bitch planned this from day one. Anil clenched his fists. We can't let him get away with this. I'm in. Marcus, all the way. Sarah nodded, her voice fierce. Let's burn this to the ground. We called ourselves our crew, half joking, but dead serious. We started collecting more, meeting recordings, texts from old co-workers, anything to build our case. I took a side gig with BlueTide Solutions, a scrappy startup gunning to outdo Sunwave. Their CEO, Elena Torres, a Cuban woman with a fire in her eyes, heard my story and hired me as a consultant. She saw my 15 years at Sunwave as gold. I built their app from the ground up. It was fast. It was slick. It crushed Sunwave's dreams. It felt good to build something again. But I kept it quiet. Keller couldn't know I was coming for him. Then the threats started. A text from an unknown number hit my phone at 12 a.m. Back off, or you'll regret it. I stared at the screen, my pulse hammering. Sarah got spooked, ready to quit. I sat her down, looked her in the eye. Remember when we were kids, Sarah, and they told us we didn't belong? This is our chance to prove them wrong. For us, for Jaden, for everyone they've hurt. She took a deep breath, nodded. I'm not running. We sent our evidence to a reporter at the Miami Herald, setting the stage for a bombshell. But I had a bad feeling. Keller was too slippery, too connected. I couldn't shake the thought that he was one step ahead, watching us, waiting to strike. That late-night message from Jamal, a coworker I hadn't spoken to in months, hit me like a lightning bolt. I was sitting in my living room, the Miami skyline glowing through my window. When my phone buzzed, Jamal's voice was low, urgent, like he was looking over his shoulder. Marcus, you need to know something. Keller's about to launch a new app, and it's yours, the one you pitched 2 years ago. He stole it. Man, wiped your name clean off the files. I froze, my grip tightening on the phone. That app was my baby, a financial tool I'd spent countless nights designing, one that could have changed the game for Sunwave. I'd presented it to the old CEO, got nothing but praise. But Keller, he took it, slapped his name on it, and acted like I never existed. My blood boiled, but a fire sparked in my chest. If Keller thought he could steal my work and get away with it, he was about to learn a hard lesson. This wasn't just about getting even anymore. It was about taking back what was mine. I paced my apartment, the ocean's hum outside doing nothing to calm me. Jaden was asleep in his room, his superhero posters glowing under the nightlight. I thought about his voice, calling me his coding superhero, and how I'd promised to fight. Keller's betrayal wasn't just a slap in my face. It was a theft of everything I'd built for my son's future. I called Maria, Anil, and Sarah, told them what Jamal said. Maria's voice crackled with fury. That lowlife thinks he can just take your work and parade it like he's some genius? We're not letting this slide. Sarah agreed, her tone sharp. Let's use this, Marcus. Beat him at his own game with your own idea. Anil was quieter, hesitant, like something was eating at him. I should have seen it then, but I was too caught up in the plan forming in my head. The next day, Manam, I met Lena at a rundown coffee shop in Little Havana, the smell of Cuban pastries thick in the air. I told her about the stolen app. Her eyes lit up, fingers tapping her laptop. If we can get more dirt, Marcus, we can bury Keller before he launches. But we need something big, something undeniable. She started digging deeper into Sunwave's systems, chasing threads from the financial transfer we'd found. That's when she uncovered a name, Robert Klein, a board member at Sunwave. Lena showed me an encrypted email he'd sent to an anonymous account. It read, Keller's playing dirty with the company's stock, skimming profits for himself. I can't go public, but you need to know. I stared at the screen, my heart racing. That weird transfer from years ago, it was Keller's doing, a scheme to line his pockets while he preached about company vision. Klein's email was a lifeline, but he'd covered his tracks, insisting on anonymity. I respected the move. A guy like that had too much to lose. But this was the kind of ammo that could take Keller down for good. Then came the gut punch. Enil called me late at night, his voice shaking. "Marcus, I messed up bad," he said, barely above a whisper. "Keller threatened my visa, said I'd be deported. I gave him some info. Nothing big, just enough to keep him off my back. I should have told you." My stomach churned, betrayal cutting like a knife. Anil, my friend, the guy I'd coded with till dawn, had sold me out. I wanted to scream, to cut him off for good. But his fear was real. A man trapped by a system that held his future hostage. I took a deep breath, steadied my voice. "Anil, Keller's the enemy, not you. You want to fix this? Feed him lies. Keep him blind. You owe me that." He paused, then whispered, "I'm in. Marcus. I swear." I hung up, hands trembling. Trust bruised but not broken. This fight was bigger than my pain. Lena kept pushing, her skills sharper than ever. She hacked into Keller's personal phone, exploiting a weak link in Sunwave's old security system I'd warned them about years ago. She pulled a voice recording that made my jaw drop. It was Keller, clear as day, talking to Linda Hayes. "Marcus and his kind don't fit our image. Get them out. Clean the slate." His voice dripped with arrogance, like he was untouchable. I played it over and over, each word fueling my resolve. This wasn't just evidence. It was a weapon. I sent everything to the Miami Herald reporter, who promised a story that'd shake Sunwave to its core. I also filed a formal complaint with the EEOC, laying out Keller's discrimination, the data leak, the stock scam, everything. Meanwhile, I doubled down at BlueTide. Elena, their CEO, was all in, pushing our app to outshine Sunwave's stolen version. We timed our launch to hit the same day as Keller's big reveal, a head-to-head showdown. I knew we had the edge. My app was built on years of grit, not some thief's ego. But I couldn't shake the feeling that Keller had one last card to play. He was too cunning, too desperate to lose. Late one night, as I stared at the Miami skyline, my phone lit up with a text from Jamal. "Watch your back, Marcus. Keller's planning something big, and he's not going down without a fight." On that Miami beach, after tearing Keller's world apart, I stood victorious, the ocean's roar steadying my heart, knowing men like him never just vanish. 6 months later, Sunwave was crumbling, bleeding money and trust. A new CEO, a woman with grit, issued a public apology, owning up to Keller's discrimination and vowing to rebuild the company's soul. They settled with me, Maria, Anil, and Sarah out of court, a hefty sum that erased the sting of those unpaid bills. But the real win was bigger. It was the respect I'd fought for, the truth I'd dragged into the light. I threw myself into BlueTide, taking a permanent role as head of product. Our app, born from my vision and hustle, turned BlueTide into Miami's new tech star. Investors lined up, our office buzzing with the energy I'd missed at Sunwave. Anil and Sarah joined me, their talents shining brighter than ever. Sarah launched a mentorship program for young designers. While Anil taught coding to kids in Overtown, Maria started her own consulting firm, her Cuban fire lighting up every room she walked into. We weren't just survivors. We were builders, creating something honest, something real. One evening, we hosted a community event at a Miami rec center, raising money for workers who'd faced discrimination. The place was packed, from baristas to coders, all sharing stories of being pushed down but getting back up. A young guy, Javier, grabbed my hand, his eyes bright. "Your fight, man, it gave me the guts to call out my boss for treating me like I didn't belong. I owe you." His words hit me hard, like a wave washing away the last of my doubts. I wasn't just fighting for me or Jaden. I was fighting for every underdog who'd ever been told they weren't enough. A month later, I saw Keller again. A moment burned into my memory. At a tech conference in downtown Miami, where startups pitched and big names networked, he stood alone by a coffee stand, suit wrinkled, face hollow, No one approached him. No handshakes. No smiles. He caught my eye, and for a second, I saw the man who tried to break me. Jamal had told me Keller begged for a job at a major firm, but they slammed the door in his face, his name now toxic after the Herald story. Later, I found an email from him in my inbox, a weak attempt at an apology. I was under pressure. Marcus, I didn't mean for things to go that far. Can we talk? I read it once, laughed, and hit delete. Keller didn't deserve my time. Not after what he'd done. Miami's tech scene had turned its back on him, his legacy reduced to a cautionary tale. Seeing him like that, a nobody in a crowd, was sweeter than any courtroom win. One night, I took Jaden to South Beach, the same stretch of sand where I'd stood after the launch. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of fire. I pulled a box from my car, a brand new laptop, and handed it to him. This is for you, champ, so you can learn to code, build apps, maybe even outdo your old man one day. His face lit up, and he threw his arms around me. Dad, you're my hero, not just for coding, but because you never gave up, even when things got bad. I held him tight, my eyes stinging. Those words erased every scar, every moment I'd been called less than because of my skin. I looked out at the ocean, its waves whispering strength. I'd turned pain into power. I started a scholarship fund in Miami, named for Jaden, to help kids of color chase tech dreams. I read every application, each story a reminder of why I fought. Miami, with its sun and sea, wasn't just my home. It was my battleground, where I'd reclaimed my name, my worth, as a father, a fighter, a black man who wouldn't be silenced. Keller's downfall, Jaden's pride, Javier's gratitude. Those were my trophies. If you've ever been told you don't belong, stand up. Your story can change the world. As the sunset blazed, I smiled, knowing my next fight would light up the world for kids like Jaden.